What is going on, guys? We are back on the FTOG Avant 3 server, and today, guys, we're going to be messing around with agricultural expansion, and we're specifically going to be farming ender pearls. Now, if you don't know what agricultural expansion is, it's essentially a mod that allows for the farming of basically any resource you could want, and what you do is you start out and you kind of work your way up in terms of your ability to make different sprouts or essentially seeds, and then those are going to be able to grow into whatever you want. So you can have all these different sprouts for all these different mobs, for all these different resources, diamonds, glowstone, zombies, all that good stuff. We're going to be going for the enderman sprout because, of course, we need a ton of ender pearls for our power generation using the endergenic generator. Now, we do have the setup, which is currently over there, which is the spawner, the powered spawner that is working to spawn enderman, but unfortunately, it basically only maintains itself. It isn't able to actually get an excess of ender pearls, but this setup will without a doubt be able to do that because the only power we're going to be using is for the farming station and for a crafter. So it is going to be a little bit of work to get all the way up to the actual enderman sprout, but hopefully this will be helpful if any of you guys want to get to basically any of the sprouts. This is how you're going to do it. So we're going to be using the farming station. We're not going to upgrade this at all, but we're going to place this down, and I've cleared out this area right here so we can place it down. I might eventually move it and make it bigger and put it in a greenhouse and all that stuff, but for now, I'm just trying to get a basic setup for the power going, and we really don't have anything back here, so might as well put this down. And we get to look at the back of the house, which we took some time to actually decorate a little bit. I think it looks pretty good, but all we need is going to be well, it's going to go out 3 in every direction, so I think right about like here should be good, since we'll be going 1, 2, 3 in that direction, and I'll just clear these out here. 1, 2, 3 in that direction, get rid of these, and we'll just put some water below this. It's going to be kind of irrelevant for now because we're going to be using a watering can, which is right here. Unfortunately, we do have to refill this. It's not kind of like the infinite watering can that you could get before, but it's not that bad, especially because we've got water over there. It does take a little bit of time, but the reason we need to use this is because you can't actually bone meal these crops, so it is pretty important. So we've got our farming station, and we're actually going to be putting in this diamond hoe. Now, I can't remember who gave this to me, but the first time I logged onto the server, Grok came to give me a tour of the server, and right before we left, he gave me a little bit of food, and then someone gave me a diamond hoe as a joke, and now it's actually going to come in handy. So we got the diamond hoe, throw it in there, and if you guys don't know about the farming station, you pretty much are going to power it, and it's going to have its outputs over in this 3x2 over here. You'd have the ability to put bone meal and fertilizer up there, and then all the seeds you're going to be using are going to go in these 4 over here, and it's going to give you all the 4 different quadrants. That's why it says southwest, southeast, northeast, and northwest. And so we're going to put 16 in pretty much each of them. I only have 48 because we don't actually need 16, so I guess you're going to need, let's spread it out to be, I'm trying to think of how many you need in each one. It's going to be 12 in each one. Yeah, that was simple math that I couldn't think of for a second, but it's because when it goes out 3 in every direction to fill up the whole thing, we're going to need 48. And then if you really wanted to, you could lock this in there if you don't want these seeds to get swapped out with any others, and you want each quadrant to do its own thing, but that's kind of irrelevant right now because we have all the same seeds. Now, if you don't know what these resource seeds are, they basically are where you are going to have to start with all this. So I'll just search those up right now, and you guys can see the recipe. Now, they are kind of a pain in the butt to make because they require a water bucket. Obviously, it does not consume the bucket, but it is going to take the water. So I would suggest making an infinite pool right where you're crafting. Make a fair bit of buckets and then just cycle through them over and over again. And you only get 1 resource seed per, but it takes an apple, bone meal, and seeds. But once you get 48 of these, you shouldn't have to worry about them at all anymore. You don't even need that many, but basically the gist of it is we are going to be growing these, and let's get agricultural expansion back up. You're going to want to get these resource sprouts. So you've got resource, powerful, and ultimate. And whenever you go to craft any of these, let's say coal sprout, it takes 8 different resource sprouts all around a piece of coal. But if you wanted to go to redstone, it's going to take 4 resource sprouts and 4 powerful sprouts. So the better they get, the more effective, or I guess I should say the rarer the thing you're trying to get the sprout for, the harder it is going to be to get all the different sprouts for it. So we're going to need 4 ultimate sprouts and 4 powerful sprouts to get the enderman sprout, and that's just for one of them. Okay, so we need a ton of these. It is absurd how many we need, and I'm not going to be getting all these on camera, but I want to show you guys how to get these. And if you're curious what this is, it's an enderman chunk. It's just an enderman drop. I got 19 of them from my farm. So I think we're ready to go. Right now, I actually don't have any way to get power up here other than using our capacitor bank, just because I don't feel like wiring it all the way up here. So worst case scenario, I will go down there and recharge it, but I don't think it'll take that much power right now to get going. Okay, so we need to set this to be output on the bottom. Okay guys, so we are back. Now a little bit of an unfortunate event happened that caused me to actually stop recording. I guess it's kind of funny, but apparently I crashed the entire server, and I don't think everyone that was on here was too happy about that because it interrupted some pretty important things that other people were doing. But it turns out I thought that attaching this capacitor bank and changing it to output onto the farming station is what crashed me. Technically that did crash me, but the reason it crashed is because the farming station cannot work on this loamy grass block, which is essentially because it's biomes o' plenty dirt, if you think about it. So right now the area that we have to work with has been fixed. I know Torgal had to come on and remove the block and then restart the server, so a big thank you to him for fixing it, but we got to use regular Minecraft dirt and keep a border so that none of this grows over. So now the whole thing has been set up, it's been running for a little bit, and I wanted to let that happen off camera just so that we wouldn't be sitting here for a while, letting everything grow. But we've got the farming station. It's got the resource seeds in there if it ever needs to replant them, but that's not the case. They pretty much are just going to keep regrowing. Now, I was sitting here for a little bit, and I did start grabbing out some of these. You can't even see them until we pull them all the way over. Ultimate sprouts. Now, since I threw some of these in the, what do you want to call it, the incineration frame in there, because we really don't need the these resource sprouts at all. I only really care about the ultimate sprouts and the, gosh, what is this one called? I forget. The powerful sprouts. I got these, and this is what's come up in the last maybe like 5 minutes. So we're going to be using the watering can to get a little bit more of this so that we can make a couple of the enderman ones. I prefer to get as many of them as possible right now, but maybe just getting like 9 of them would be nice. We're only going to probably get like 3 or 4 today on camera because there's really not a huge need to do a bunch of this on camera. It's kind of boring stuff, but I'll show you guys how it works. So I mentioned that you can use the watering can to make this grow a little bit faster because they are kind of slow. So if I wanted them to grow faster, I would stand here and you can see it's got a durability that's pretty much how full it is with water. Now I'm sure there's particle effects. I have particle effects turned off right now just to get a little bit better FPS, but you can see that these start growing in this area a little bit faster, and then they'll get harvested and basically just start regrowing. So I think the ones over to my left are about to get harvested. I want to say it's the final stage, yeah. And this one's like the second to final stage. But we'll let these get harvested a little bit. Now, you can see the percentage chance of stuff actually coming out of them, such as the different sprouts. And I believe it's 10%, 10%, and then 5% going from resource to ultimate. So we'll let these grow a little bit and then we'll take a look. Now you can see the watering can does have a pretty big internal storage, but it does take a while to fill up too. It's pretty much the same speed to fill up as it is to deplete the water. It takes a little bit of time to do that. And change the daytime again, that is great. Now the capacitor bank should be fine for powering this for the time being until I get it hooked up to some wireless power. Just because this really doesn't consume that much, and when we throw the crafter on here, it's only going to consume per operation. So if we take a look, this is almost done. Let's take a look in the farming station. So we got a bunch of the resource sprouts, but only 1 ultimate sprout still. So that's a little unfortunate. You can see up here it says 5% chance to get one, 10% chance to get one of these, and then another 10% chance to get the resource sprouts. So it is kind of interesting. But what we can do now, we just got a powerful sprout coming up there. But I'll show you guys how long it takes to refill this watering can if you want to know. You can see down there, I guess it's a little bit faster than it is to deplete it. But there's really no reason not to use it if you can and you're trying to get started on this, because it is a little bit of a lengthy process to get a whole farming station of these set up. Now, of course, if you had the time to go AFK and just let it build up overnight, you could easily set up one of these, hook it up to your power, like go to bed or something, and wake up in the morning and you'd have all that you could possibly need. But for me, I don't really have that luxury right now. I got 2 exams this week. I have my chemical engineering one and an organic chemistry. So trying to get this recorded beforehand, so I don't really have that luxury. So it is nice to be able to speed it up. But if you guys think this is still a little bit too slow for growing them, then another thing you can use to speed it up, if we go in and look at all the different blocks, there's a ton of different blocks in this mod, but one of the coolest ones that I think is offered is called greenhouse glass. Now, it's right here, it's from Actually Editions, and basically what it does is if it's placed above a crop and has sunlight above it, so during daytime, and there's no block between the greenhouse glass and the crop, it will increase the growth rate of the crop. So something pretty cool that you can make an actual greenhouse out of. I do plan on using that, but it does require that we get into Actually Editions a little bit before we actually do that. And I know a lot of people have wanted to see that mod, so we will probably get into that in the near future. So I'll let this little quadrant over here grow, and then we'll go and we'll craft some of the enderman sprouts, and we will see how that goes. So there we go, those grow, and check back in here. Okay, so we did get another ultimate sprout. We'll pull all these out. Ooh, we got 2 more of those. Okay, so we'll come over to the crafting grid, and to craft these we should be able to make right now, we're only gonna be able to make 3, but this is how you're gonna do it. And there you go, enderman sprouts. We're gonna pull those out, and you can now throw these in here. It's going to be a little bit awkward. Let's pick which quadrant we want them in. Let's get them in. Let's do southeast. It really doesn't matter at all, but we can throw them in there. We can lock this, and might as well just lock all these for now. And then, which one would be the southeast? So we need southeast. So it'd be over here. So let's break one of these, and let's see. Yep, enderman crop gets replanted. Break one of these, break one of these. Since we have 3 enderman crops, these should all be enderman crops right here. And then those are the ones that we are going to want to grow. So we're going to fill up our watering can, and it'll be pretty interesting to see how long it takes us to fully fill up, I guess, this area. If you don't already know, ooh, wait, didn't we have a third one that should be planted there? What? Wow, these seem like they're growing really fast right now for some reason. I don't know. Oh, it's because we have it locked. It's because we have it locked. Okay, so that's already fully grown right there. So it got harvested. And if we come over here, we can see, ooh, we got another ultimate sprout. Nice. But we got an enderman essence. Now that's important because you basically are going to get these from the enderman sprouts. You don't actually get a straight up ender pearl. So something else to keep in mind is you get all these different essences, and you'll see them for all the different things. You're going to get nickel essence, platinum essence, aluminum essence. They're all from this. That's what you get. And then to craft these into stuff, the way you use them is going to be putting them filling up the crafting grid with 8 of them like this, and then you're going to get 2 out. So you're going to get 2 of whatever you're using. So 2 zinc, 2 lead, basically anything. So yeah, you can use that. I'm looking through all these things that you can actually use it for. That is pretty darn cool. Okay, so you get 10 apatite if you do it with apatite. Rubber doesn't actually have a recipe for. But yeah, it looks like for the most part you're going to get 2 out of these. And it goes the same thing for the enderman crops when you're using enderman essence. So let me refill this. And let's use it over here. See if we can get another one to grow. Looks like that one's almost done growing. So you can see they do have a lot of growth stages. For some reason I want to say they have like 6 or 8 growth stages. But the main thing is just going to be me sitting AFK here, letting them grow. So you can see we got another 2 ultimate sprouts. That's great because that means that we are 1 away from being able to craft another one of the enderman sprouts. But pretty much if you're going to start agricultural expansion, you're just going to be doing this. But like I said, if you have time to kill, then you can easily just AFK with it. And you should have no issue at all. Now I'm trying to get some of these so we can actually set up the automation. If we were to get 1 more ultimate sprout, it'd be pretty easy because then we could get 3 of the enderman ones growing at the same time, and you need 8 to actually set up the crafting for it and have it go through once. So I can show you guys how I actually want to do the crafting setup. So let's see if we can get lucky, and these are both about to finish growing another time. Let's have that last one grow over there, and then we'll hop back and we will see what we have. Let's take a look. Okay, so we got 3 of these, 3 of these, so let's pull those out, and let's make another one, and then we can toss it in there, and we should be able to get the 8 that we need to set up the crafting. So we'll get the enderman sprout, we'll throw it in there, and it should get planted. There we go, so it should be planted right over here. Now, I don't know if I already said this, but if you upgrade the capacitors inside the farming station, it will increase the speed and area and power consumption. So eventually we will expand this, but right now I'm trying to conserve the power as much as I possibly can, just because there's really no need to be using a ton of power. These aren't going to be growing that fast, and we're not going to be able to fill up the whole area with the enderman ones anyway just yet. But eventually, when we can make a full farm out of the enderman ones, that will probably be our main source for ender pearls, because of how fast you actually can get it. And you can layer these on top of each other. They really don't take that much power to run farming stations. It obviously does start taking power when you start upgrading it, but until then, it's pretty easy to run. Let's take a look at our capacitor bank. Not even halfway depleted, and a lot of that was putting the internal buffer into here. Okay, so we have another enderman sprout that we got, so we can break that, and it should get planted there. Yep, there we go. And let these grow. We'll have all 8. And then I have to decide where I want to put the crafter. I want to put it somewhere over here. And this is relatively close to where we need to send the ender pearls anyway. So that is kind of nice that we have it like that. But I'll probably pull the energy from the capacitor bank also. And eventually I'll just replace the capacitor bank with some wireless RF transportation that we can add in. So let's get these fully grown. There we go. Okay, so that one's fully grown. And I think we should have close to... So we have 6 in there. We haven't gotten any... The only thing is you can see right now how kind of annoying it is because you haven't gotten any powerful sprouts recently. So we only need 2 more to finish growing. So we'll finish that. I know this is a little bit tedious, but I want to get through it on camera. That one's about to finish growing to the left. We'll get 1 more to finish growing, and then we will call it. We'll do the crafting setup, and we'll finish there for the day. And then off camera, I will... Oh no, I didn't mean to break that. Holding down right click and I accidentally left click. But off camera, I will get this whole setup so that next episode we can come back and we can see how it actually works with a partially upgraded. I may only go with a double capacitor instead of the highest tier one that you can get. If you know, you got the basic, the double, and then it's like the octadic capacitor or something like that, I want to say. I don't really think we're going to need the last one. It'll take me a really long time to get all the seeds to actually plant that anyway. But once this one grows, come on. There we go. Okay, so we should have 8 right now. Once that gets harvested at least. So we'll get the 8 essence. So that's essentially 2 ender pearls. So right now you can see that that does take a very long time to get what would just be 2 ender pearls. And that's with us sitting here right clicking on it. But eventually when we get a fully upgraded farm and we can get more of these, it won't be that bad. So we can come over here. I guess we'll place it down over on this side, right on the border of this. So we're going to do the crafter tier 1, and let's line it up with the farming station. And if you don't know what this is, you can essentially get 3 different tiers of crafters. This one can hold 2 recipes, and here we only need 1. And you're going to put power in there. You have the option to turn redstone on, so you can turn it on or off with a signal. You can change the speed of it, which is going to consume more power. And then there's a lot of different options up here in terms of consuming all the input slots, which are right here, or if you want, 1 to remain so that only certain items come in here, stuff like that. You can also have certain things put back into the input after they're crafted, or you can have them be put straight into the output, which is right here. So you got all that, and we can set up the recipe. You can have remembering the current items in the internal and external buffers, and to forget the remembered layout. So there's a lot of different options you can have. We really don't need to change any of the settings for what we're doing today. So we're going to put these in there, and we didn't need all 8 to set up the recipe, but we're going to need all 8 to show one process. So we're going to apply that, and here we have the recipe for 2 ender pearls. And so the only thing that we actually need to do now is use some of these energy conduits to bring it over here. We don't need any high tier ones, so let's bring that right on over here. Okay, and we just needed to change this to be output on this side. There we go. And this will be able to start crafting once we throw these in there. So it's really fast. Switching between fast and slow would be if you're doing like compressed cobblestone or something and you need to be really, really fast. And these would be good for that because it can input it back in and do a bunch of different processes. If you have a tier 3 one, you should be able to do, I want to say, all the compressed cobble. It might be 1 recipe short, but yeah, so this is the setup, guys. Hopefully you learned something from the video. If you found it entertaining or informative in any way, please feel free to give it a like. And I know it was a little bit shorter than I'd like it to be. I got kind of interrupted with the server crashing, and obviously, you know, it can't be fixed right away, so I lost a fair bit of recording time on that, or else I would have gotten this whole farm set up and filled in. But hopefully you guys can understand that. I have a pretty busy week this week, but we will be off for Thanksgiving and Christmas break relatively soon, and when that happens, you guys better believe we are going to be having one video every single day. So that's when we'll start cranking out the Surviving With series and this Avant 3 series. Hopefully you guys can wait until then, but again, thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you later.